We argue for a local economy and the free market here in Chattanooga and beyond. And nothing that I say really is trademarked. Feel free to use it. If you're just passing through, you're on the highway and you love tuning into the David Tula Show because you're in the trucking business, right? You're in the transportation business, carrying goods for hire in the back of a gigantic 30-ton rig. Well, just take our ideas with you and apply them in your locale. We, after all, think intergalactically and act locally. And we think that nothing that we have to offer really, as far as the generic idea goes, belongs just to us. So we're very glad to share and would like you to steal our slogan here on the David Tula Show, which is love your neighbor and buy local. There's an idea in that of kind of personal ethic, which of course borrows from Christianity, where God has a personal connection with every one of his children and produces the whole world, all the physical world, and the millions of stars seen beyond for their benefit. It's all for them, and the world, as it were, the creation belongs to his people. That's why Christians are supposedly, and they should be, the most personable and interested people you can meet, because they have this connection. So my argument here is a personal economy theory, and to do business with people you know personally and to care about them, maybe distrusting somewhat dealings with corporate chains and corporate employees and corporate managers. Not that those are bad at all, but there's something to say for a local business, a local operation that has distinct characteristics, distinct shape, distinct architecture, distinct design, interior decor, and the like, that comes from the fact that it's put there by individual men and women. For example, Faye Botchus is a woman who came to East Ridge from the New York area, and following not too long after her, Nick and Callie Mehta. Now they run, all three of them, a restaurant here in East Ridge called Olive Branch Mediterranean. Now, let me ask you, Callie, how is it that Faye first came to Tennessee? What brought her here, and how is it that you ended up following her here with your husband and running a restaurant?
Well, good question. My sister moved up here because she wanted to live within the mountains, have 4 seasons, because we're coming from Florida. And she wanted to live on a farm. She wanted to grow her own food, her vegetables organically. She has farm animals. She has cows and chickens and the whole 9 yards. And so she wanted to live more on the land. So after she purchased her farm in Varnell, Georgia, my husband and I decided to move up as well.
Now, you're New Yorkers, but you were living in Florida.
Correct.
And how long you'd been away from the home state?
At least 35 years.
Okay. So you're sort of historically New Yorkers, but maybe in the way you speak, but you're Floridians moving north.
That's
into
right.
the cooler climes.
That's correct. Uh-huh. And we're Southerners by choice.
Well, there couldn't be a better group of people than converts to the Southern way. So how did Olive Branch get its beginnings?
Well, my sister and I went traveling around Chattanooga trying to find good places to eat, since my husband is a chef and he's very picky on what he eats. So we had a hard time finding really good places that my husband would like, or that they would cook from scratch. So we decided after a few months that we would open something and give Chattanooga and East Ridge authentic world food.
Now, is this authentic world food? Does that mean it's Italian or Greek or what?
It's a mixture.
It's not Chinese or anything.
Right. So it's a mixture. So we do. We have some Spanish cuisine that we prepare. Moroccan, Southern France, Italy, Greece. We have a young lady who works with us, and she is from Syria. So we have one of the first refugees that came from Syria here in Chattanooga who works for us. So on Thursday, we do a Syrian day, and so she'll prepare some kind of Syrian food that day.
Well, what's the menu today?
So today we have red Argentinian shrimp served over Greek spaghetti, and that shrimp is awesome. It's crunchy, tastes like lobster. We also have a cod that is gently floured and fried with a vermicelli rice with Greek olives and feta cheese and spinach and carrots, and it's yummy.
Now, you're a restaurant, you're a deli, and you're also a market. So how do you present yourself to the world in saying, hey, here we are, we're Olive Branch Mediterranean, what? How do you get the message out?
Yeah, so we are a deli taking from the New York area where you can go in, pick up your food, go home and eat. We have a deli where you can actually have a sandwich with boar's heads meats, because that's what all we serve, boar's head meats and cheese. We prepare 4 to 5 hot meals per day, and they change on a daily basis. The only constant is our Greek lemon chicken, which we serve every day with Greek potatoes. All of our meals come with a Greek salad and homemade bread, because we bake daily. And we have a bakery. So our baklava and all of our pastries are made fresh daily.
Well, what's it like being among a people and serving a people who are drawn to, you might say, drawn to sameness, drawn to large name brands that are heavily advertised, where we have kind of in our minds, imprinted in our minds, we have McDonald's, we have higher end restaurants that are sort of half fast food, half sit down. How do you stand out when your prospect, your new diner at Olive Branch hears this, you might say, this din of important media messaging?
Well,
Callie?
We have 2 seating areas in our establishment. We serve the food from our hot bar, or if you're ordering a sandwich, we'll deliver it to a table. So we're not a sit-down restaurant, but we're kind of are. That makes sense? We treat our customers just like they're our family. So the first time you come in, we show you the ropes, where you order, where you pay, where you get your drinks, etc. And then the second time, everybody feels so comfortable that they're able to come in and know the ropes. It's
800-8949, 800-8949. If you have an idea on any topic at all, feel free to call me here. It's David Toulis. It is our off-speed news day at the David Toulis Show at 92.7 and also 95.3 FM HD4. That's high definition channel 4. We're live on your TV. Your TV is at Nougat Radio. That's YouTube. Your YouTube station on your new TV is, again, Nougat Radio. Live on Facebook, Nougat Radio, and of course on the internet on YouTube, Nougat Radio. Caller, what's on your mind?
Well, I just want to say my wife and myself have visited the Olive Branch, and it's phenomenal. We walked in the first time we ever went, about a year and a half ago or so. It was great. We were treated better than anywhere else I've ever been, more like a family atmosphere. So I just wanted to say to her, thank her for the way that they treat their customers, because it was phenomenal. We come back every chance we get.
Well, I guess that's what makes a locally owned restaurant and a local business different from a corporate chain where the people there are just employees. Here in your business, Callie, you may get a check from the company. You are an LLC, I think, right?
Correct.
But you're not just someone who's hired for a position. You are the owner and you're the worker. And being the owner, you have really much more empathy for the people who come. You can kind of read them, and are they willing for me to come and chat with them for a few minutes, or should I kind of be distant because they're having a deep conversation about business or their personal relationship, and you'll just come and ask if everything's okay and then leave. But an owner can do that. A hireling, some young person hired in a restaurant is not going to have that grace or that skill, and so there's a lot to say about the personal treatment you get in a locally owned shop with a distinct local flavor, Callie Mehta.
And that's true. Thank you to the caller. We treat everybody like they're our family. We've been in Eastridge now for 2 years, going on into our 3rd year. And it's amazing how inviting Eastridge has been to us, and that we've made such wonderful friends, and everybody is treated just like they would if they were sitting at my dining room table.
Well, I had a date with my wife, Jeanette. This is David Toulis, and I do thank you for tuning into our show where we cover local economy and the free market. And the slogan the slogan is love your neighbor and buy local, meaning kind of be prejudiced, have a prejudice for the local owner, the distinct, one shot deal, right? Here's a restaurant there's just one like it. And it would be, and of course, all the chains that we have emerged or arisen from the single hamburger joint. Like the first Crystal was just one joint, and then it expanded, and then it adopted, high studied rational systems and look, and these companies changed to become more palatable to a larger setting. And so there's always a change from the original theory or the original design when a company starts franchising itself. So here you have the original restaurant, and so we favor that kind of shop. And let me ask you this, Callie. My listener is we're not on Cash Friday today. Cash Friday, I think, is next Friday, where we all go to our bank or credit union and draw $100 in paper money, and then use that to spend it in retail purchases. Is it better for you as a local owner to have a credit card transaction or a cash transaction, and why?
Well, of course, cash is cash. It's much better, but credit, again, is much easier and convenient for the customer. All merchants in the area do pay some kind of a transaction fee, which we do not pass on to our customer. That's part of our.
So, in other words, if my listener is thinking just of his own convenience, he'll hand you the credit card. But if he's thinking not just of his own life and his own circumstances, he's going to say, well, I think it'll be better since I'm having a relationship with Nick. There he is at the window, and Callie behind the counter, bringing me my lunch. I'm having a personal relationship. I think it would be better for them if I gave them some green rectangles and left the tip in green rectangles too. Again, because they're thinking about the provider of that service, the provider of that food. In other words, there has to be, for people to use cash, a kind of empathy that we don't normally have, and in fact we're trained to not have in our credit-based economy, Callie. Not sure what to make of that.
That's not sure.
Well, but you do agree that cash is better, and you get more from the transaction as the seller when the customer, my listener, pays in cash. So we're hearing about that now. What else can you tell us about life in the South, especially in East Ridge? Is there something touching on the restaurant business? Is there a lot of competition in the restaurant business? What can be done in your part of East Ridge to bring life back, perhaps, to that corridor?
Well, I think that local businesses with local, instead of like being a franchise, et cetera, local businesses, family-owned businesses are far in between. And I feel that that's pretty much lacking in all of, not only East Ridge, but all of the United States. People want good food for a decent price.
Did you get some kind of award recently, Callie Mehta, your restaurant?
We did. We achieved.
I'm just recalling that.
Yes, we did achieve the Chamber of Commerce Business of the Quarter, which was a great honor for us. It actually was very unexpected. Actually, being a company, just an establishment for 2 years, it was really phenomenal.
Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us, Callie. Again, just quickly, what is the menu for today? And is there a special maybe for the weekend that my listener might want to take advantage of, Callie?
Okay, well, today we also have homemade lasagna that we make daily. We have a Tuscan chicken breast, and then we have our fish every Friday, shrimp, Argentinian shrimp, and our cod.
Well, we've been talking with Callie Mehta of Olive Branch Mediterranean Deli and Market here in East Ridge. Thanks very much, Callie.
Thank you, everybody.
And this is David Toulis, and I had, as I was mentioning, I had dinner with my wife Jeanette not long ago at Olive Branch, and I realized as I sat there across from Jeanette, we were getting caught up, that I'm not doing that enough. I need to love on my beloved more and just break away from all the routines coming down from Saudi Daisy that evening, trying to get back before a certain hour. And also we thought, well, we'll get a good dinner in. And it was funny. Callie was behind the counter saying, well, this is the chicken. I said, boy, I don't think I can handle a whole chicken like that by myself. He said, well, there's not that much on there. And yet we had one leg of a chicken. It was very, very large piece of meat and Jeanette and I split that. And we were very satisfied with that, despite, and I sort of chided Callie. I said, Callie, you need to sell it up, right? You not sell it down. But so we had a great dinner there and enjoyed just sitting there and looking at the passing scene here in East Ridge. The name is David Toulis. Near is better than far. Small is always better than big. And as in my calculation done for your benefit, simple is better than complex. And like us on Facebook. And do watch my show live on YouTube on your TV, right? Your TV, if you have a new model, has a YouTube channel, and just click it in there to Nuga Radio. And we're always live, and it's always live. It's like a TV show. I mean, here I am in the radio business, but I'm on TV, and I urge you to take advantage of me. But in the footnotes, personal is better than corporate, and physical is better than abstract. And the number is 800-8949, 800-8949. And I want just to mention about the Airbnb situation. I have also just want to mention that there's a bill was passed last year. I did not know about that until June Griffin in Dayton called me this morning. She said, David, are you aware of the Private Property Rights Protection Act? And I said, well, June, can you nail that down for me? And so the local maven of the Constitution here in Southeast Tennessee, the great lover of political and legal liberties, that's June Griffin, well into her 70s now. She has defended the 10 Commandments and the constitutional restraint upon force and coercion, which is what it does. Dug it up. She called her federal representative, Deja Olay, and the letter came back to her. She forwarded it to me, and the bill prohibits a state or a political subdivision from exercising the power of eminent domain or allowing, now here's the good part, in light of the Kelo decision of about 13 years ago or so, or allowing the exercise of such power by delegation over property, and here now, to be used for economic development. Okay, the economic development rationale was what was given under Kelo, that the good people can seize your land if a private party, if some other private party can do more with it and create a bigger tax base, right? That's a false, that's a very, I'd say a wicked ruling by the federal lawyers there on that court. And so this act, which probably the Institute for Justice had some interest in promoting, passed and was signed, and this is from Deja Olay's office. And again, and that power can't be used if, and here's the condition, if the state or political subdivision receives federal economic development funds during any fiscal year in which the property is so used or intended to be used. So if that political, let's say the Housing Redevelopment Authority of East Ridge, which has been wrecked, had any federal dollars connected with it, then it would not be allowed under this federal statute to allow or claim eminent domain for economic development purposes. Again, that's very good. That's very much in favor of us. But notice the tendril there, that little connection, the power that it has is through the money. Since the feds give money everywhere, they're very promiscuous in giving money to the private sector and having many, many clients in the private sector and many hangers on. It's a kind of a cartelization of the economy. You have few bodies indeed that don't get federal money of some kind and which are thus not subject to federal power. I'd say it's a good bill, but it highlights again the effect of the nationalization of the economy through the federal power, through the central government. And it's a good law, but highlighting the problem, and that is that everyone is saying yes, give me more, give me now. And so we are not free. We are bound to that power. We're bound to its financial success, right? We're bound to its solvency, even. And the federal power is not solvent. It is not solvent And we are going to hear is in God's good providence here after I give you some important sponsorship information about our station. Remember, you need to love all of our advertisers. They are here for you, and they're people who want you to shop and buy with them. And if you do that, well, they will continue to have new information about the marketplace for you, my listeners. There's more. We want to talk about disaster. The disaster. And there is a very bleakly oriented financial newsletter. I used to get it, that has the editor here in the studio. We're going to hear what he has to say about the projections for economic success or economic wreckage. David Toulis, Nuga Radio.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
He's been arrested 55 times in 19 years. Now Gary Little is charged with aggressive